everyone. Welcome to your messages for the month of October 2025. So, what uh, what does our soul want us to know? What does our soul want us to know? Heads up, guidance, feeling into the energies. Take a deep breath and activate your own intuition. And if any of the messages resonate, if we get those truth bumps, then you know the message is for you. Otherwise, no worries. Oh, oh, now the cards are quite chatty. Okay, I think that's enough. We have 5. Let's dive straight in. Yes, here we go. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Now, the Nine of Pentacles, she always reminds me of me swanning around the garden retreat because she's swanning around her garden. She is a sign of independence. That doesn't mean that she's single, but she is totally independent. And so she has an energy of freedom around her. Now, this is where we want to be independent. I don't think this is just about being independent from other humans. It's okay to work as a community. I think it's okay to rely on your others in your circle. I think that's what we're meant to do. I think we're all meant to live our true gifts and interact with each other for the benefit of all. I think this card, and I've never said this about this card before, so this is interesting, is about being independent from outside agencies where we can, yeah, rely on each other, the people power, relying on people power and being independent, I want to say, from the government, independent from, yes, any of the outside agencies. So where we're not actually needing support, I don't know, from the medical system, the political system, the education system. Oh, wow, I'm going off on this one. And I really wasn't expecting this, not with the Nine of Pentacles. This is about self-sufficiency. This is about finding your community. Even though she's an independent card, she's going to invest these pentacles, right? So she's got abundance, I want to say, not necessarily money. Pentacles is typically money, but it applies to time, resources, everything. She's in her garden. This is about us sharing our produce from our garden. I know that when the lemons are in in the garden retreat, I'm always putting crates of lemons outside the garden just for people to take. Just please take them, because if Mother Nature gives them to us, then I think it's a real shame not to take and not to share with other people. And then, of course, I'm very happy to receive from people that also have abundance and harvests going on in their gardens. So this is about investing in other people, in the community. This is about investing in the community. Now, she's keeping these 3 for herself. This is exactly like the garden. You know, keep the lemons that you need for yourself, of course. Feed your family, of course. And your loved ones, make sure you've got a roof over your head, of course, because this is all part of your sovereignty. This is all part of you being independent. That's what she's all about. But this is about investing. And the Nine of Pentacles invests wisely because she invests in her own frequency. So if she's not feeling well, she'll find a natural healer. Natural healers cost money, right? You know, she could go to the NHS for free, but this is about understanding and also investing in your own education. What's important for you to know and for you to learn? Do you need to know about celebrities at this time? Do you need to know what's going on in every nook and cranny of the world? Do you need to be scouring the internet for as much information on current affairs as you're doing? Because 9 times out of 10, that's going to bring you down anyway. This is about investing in what's going to raise your frequency, investing your time, your money, your energy, your attention, because it's what you put your focus on that you're going to amplify. So it's about investing all of that where you want to see things grow. And there's another message here about investing, yeah, investing in the things you want to see grow. So let's say, for example, organic foods, they're usually quite difficult to find. I'm living in Spain, and yes, we do find them, but it's not as easy as going to the supermarket. But investing in organic foods, yes, you have to invest more time, more energy, because you have to go out of your way, maybe. And you do have to go more often because organic foods obviously go off quicker, and they are more expensive, right? So there's quite a lot of investment, right, that she's putting in. But the reason that she's doing that is because her ideal world, her view of heaven on earth that she is creating has organic fruit and vegetables, and it has them on every street corner. Or juice bars. I used this as an example in the past. I'd love to see a juice bar on every street corner rather than a pub. I don't drink alcohol anymore, but rather than have a pub that encourages you to, and it's expensive and what have you, I don't know, a juice bar on every corner. I would love that. So it's up to me to go and find the juice bars, however far away they are, however expensive they are, and to invest my time, my money, my resources, and my energy in that in order for not just that one particular juice bar to grow, but the concept in order to create the world that we want. That's why we often say we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. And I know it sounds very corny, but it's so true when you understand quantum manifestation that we have to actually take that first move. We cannot wait for the organic fruits and vegetables to come to us. We cannot wait for the juice bars to come to us. And I'm using those as examples, right? We can't wait for the holistic treatments to get cheaper. We can't wait for the things that we want to be in the world. We can't wait for them to be that. Waiting doesn't work because you are the creator being and you are the one creating your reality. And the only way you're going to bring the things that you want into your reality is by putting your time, money, energy, and resources on them now. Wow. Thank you, Nine of Pentacles. That was quite a passionate one. I really wasn't expecting that. Let's see what's coming out. Yeah, here we go. I can't afford it. I haven't got enough time. These are the thoughts. Swords are air. They represent thought processes, mental processes, beliefs. So this is the worry at night. I can't make ends meet if I don't do whatever, or if I don't keep paying certain bills, like in England, you have to pay the television license. Why would you do that when the television is what's programming you? That's why they're called programs, right? Because they're programming you, and then you're paying to be programmed. I mean, really, they know what they're doing, don't they? So this is about, no, but I don't want to get caught. I don't want to get, this is all this worry and anxiety. Again, this anxiety can be relieved when we understand how we create our reality. If you are full of guilt and shame and worry, that is exactly the frequency that you're going to create from. So when we create something, well, we're creating every now moment, right? So from a quantum perspective, we have the projection, which is what we're looking at, what we're observing, because everything outside of us is a holographic projection of our inner world. It's our inner world being shown back to us. And this is why two people can have completely different experiences whilst actually experiencing the same thing, right? So, for example, you walk into a room, there's a load of people. One can be completely overwhelmed and see anxiety and people staring at them in a nasty way, or people being unfriendly, or an unpleasant thing happening. I don't know what. It's all about perception, right? And the other person can walk into a room and be warmly welcomed and feel the love. I mean, and it's the same room, with the same people. But our perception of it is what's different, because our perception is the reflection of what's going on in our inner world. So when we observe something, um, the observer's judgment of the observed is what defines it. So when you observe something, how you react, how you judge what you're looking at, is how what you're looking at is going to come into form. It's going to come into reality. And so it's the frequency that you're looking at it. This is why it's so important to look to see the silver lining in everything. This is why it's so important to see the blessing in everything. Um, and it's not about putting your head in the sand. It's about understanding how you create your reality. So when you're seeing something that you don't like, this is why it's important to love what is. That's why Byron Katie wrote that book, Loving What Is. This is about seeing the divinity in everything, even the wars and the narcissists and the perpetrators, and the people that are trying to control and everything else. We've got to see the blessing in everything. I mean, the biggest blessing, of course, is that all these things, all these conflicts and things going on are waking us up. They are waking us up to how the world is really being run, our role in the world. It's waking us up to our own power as human creator beings. It was never taught to us. It was actually hidden from us. Because if we all knew the power that we had, we would just all walk away from what doesn't serve us and start focusing and investing in what we want to create in the world. This this is the result of believing what's outside of him, choosing to believe and then worrying. So let's have a look. So this is the King of Swords. So the King of Swords has transformed. We've got the butterfly here showing transformation that occurs when you can change the way you think. So he has mastered, the king is top of his game. He has mastered his thinking, he's mastered his beliefs. So he's come on the heels of this to ask you to master your thinking. When you're like, no, I must pay my television license, otherwise they might come and find me, or they might come and that's fear. And if you focus on that, that's what you will get. So we need to be independent and sovereign. And we need to invest in the things that we want to create. So just don't worry about the television. You can use your laptop anyway. So this talk about mastering our thoughts. Um, I think one of the best lessons I ever had about mastering our thoughts is one that I call detaching from your thoughts. I'll put a link in the description and the video in the end screen, how to detach from your thoughts. When you briefly, it's about thinking of your thoughts like balloons floating above your head. And they're just thoughts coming in, floating out, coming near, floating away. And these are the thoughts. They could be all sorts of thoughts, trivial thoughts, important thoughts, whatever. And these thoughts are floating around, and we can grab one and bring it in to talk about it. So I'm having a thought now about how to master how to master your thoughts and emotions, because very often our emotions are attached to a thought, right? So you bring in this thought and then you can talk about it, and that's fine. You can bring in a few balloons and you can hold on to them and talk about these thoughts that you have. But the trouble with him is he is overly attached to the thought. He can't let go of the thought. So he's got all these thoughts and he's just grabbing these negative thoughts. So these are not very nice balloons, right? And he's grabbing them and grabbing them and he can't seem to let go of them. Well, the whole moral behind the detaching from your emotions is not to be attached to them. Can you let go of them? You can still think them occasionally, Like, he's still going to have thoughts, but his thoughts are probably positive ones, right? He's going to think, maybe he's thinking the world is a safe place. I'm creating heaven on earth. I love and accept myself. He's got all these balloons above him, but he's still not attached to them, right? But they're all floating above. And there might be Hmm, digital ID coming in that could be floating across here. But what he's not going to do is attach to it because that attachment is going to create that and the emotions. Because when you observe something, the emotion, the frequency of the emotion of the judgment that you have is what is going to bring that frequency into form. So if he's observing something with fear, then that whatever it is that he's observing is going to come in and create fear. So he needs to observe what's happening and understand that the fear is coming from within him. So this is about releasing fear. He has to release his own fear. So he will be using affirmations. He'll be using Psyche, which is the belief shifting modality. And he'll be using other ways to shift his thinking, shift his thought patterns, his belief system. Okay, so that he can think more positive thoughts. And if there is a negative balloon going by, it will just float on by. He doesn't even have to look at it. He doesn't have to, he just like, there it went. Like when you're trying to meditate and thoughts come in and he just lets them get stuck. He lets them float on by. So he's choosing not to get attached to any balloon. He can still have an interesting conversation because he can bring in the balloons and let go of the balloons. So it's about letting go of thoughts, realizing that you are not your thoughts. The other thing to really realize is that everybody is creating their own version of the world. And it's only because we have collective thinking, mainly through the internet, that nowadays we have collective thinking that is then energizing these thought forms and bringing them into reality through whatever emotion is being passed around. So it's the emotion behind the observation. It's the emotion, the frequency behind your judgment of what you're observing. It's the frequency behind your judgment that is creating your reality. And it's creating the reality that you're perceiving, which is why we're all seeing a different reality. So the person that walked into the room and had a warm welcome and saw lots of loving people doing lovely activities, they had a high level of self-love. They had released their fear. The person walking into the room feeling paranoid that everybody was looking at them and feeling that everybody was quite unfriendly and feeling that they were being judged is because they had less self-love within them. Self-love is what's going to change your world. And us all understanding that is what's going to change the collective. That's just a fact. There's the sun, absolutely loving it. If I just turned it over, Major Arcana. Yeah, this is the sunlight. This is divine guidance, positive movement forward, rebirth. This is about us being reborn and rethinking. This is about us reflecting on our beliefs. What beliefs have we got? And do we understand that we are creating what we believe? We are creating what we believe. And then someone's going to go, no, I'm not. Look at it. And they're pointing fingers in the outside world, saying, look, there it is. There it is. Yes, it's there. Yes, it's in physical form. Yes. You know why? Because so many people believed it. Okay. And no one's denying that it is in physical form. Yes, there are wars going on, right? But understanding how we create that physical form. That physical form is coming through us. And if we have conflict and hatred in the cells of our body, then there will be conflict and hatred in the holographic projection that we are observing. And then we will observe it, point fingers, and blame it, and judge it as being hatred and conflict. And then we keep that vicious cycle going. That's how we keep that going. We have to observe from a place of love. And it is easier than you think because we are naturally love. This is a Leo card, and Leo is all about childhood, playfulness, socializing. It coming back to socializing with the people that understand this stuff, to get together and create together, and have fun. Going back to childhood. Why do we have to go back to childhood? Because childhood, we were not worried by all these thoughts when we were little children. We just picked the daisies, did the cartwheels, played the games, you know? So that's why there's an innocence about this card. Understanding that in our core, we are naturally compassionate, loving, divine beings. This is what we've been taught from the outside world. But there is no outside world, right? The outside world is a reflection of us. So this is where the fear is. You know, when they say that, you know, you see a baby fall over, a little toddler fall over, they'll immediately look at the parent. And if the parent has gone, then the child will adopt fear around falling. Whereas if the parent goes, well done, you got up, brilliant, you know, or laughs about it, it's not important, you got up, well done, you know, end of, then the child won't adopt fear. We learn fear. Fear isn't who we are. Fear is what we learn. And this is the most positive card in the deck. This is all for October. This is important to understand, this quantum manifestation stuff. It really is. Because when you understand how you are creating your reality, and when you understand how you are contributing to the conflict and anxiety going on in the world, we need to take responsibility for being the creators of our own reality. And we need to take responsibility for having created the reality that we're in. If there is control and greed and manipulation and all of these undesirable frequencies, consciousnesses that we're observing, we need to find where are they inside of us. And we need to shift our thinking, our words, and our actions so that we shift those frequencies into love. And then we will create from that. And then we will see that. And anyone that started their self-love journey will know that as soon as you start loving yourself, everybody outside of you will start loving you too. They have to. And when you take your attention off what you don't want to create and put your attention on what you do want to create, you will then see more organic fruit and veg, more juice bars, and more of what you want in your world. The last card is the Ace of Swords. So this is beautiful because here we have the worry. This is what they want you to feel, okay? But who are they? There is only you. They are the parts of you expressing the undesirable qualities that you don't want to see in yourself. So it's really important to be vulnerable, to face the truth, to get out of denial, and to take radical responsibility for being the creator of your own reality. And this, he's come to master his thoughts, and this has come as the new, because aces are new, a new way of thinking. This is an aha moment. I've got noises going on outside with the gardeners. I'm not sure if that's disturbing things or not. I'll just bring my microphone a bit closer. So this is an aha moment. This is a new way of thinking. And this new way of thinking is what's going to bring in the new world and the new earth, heaven on earth, world peace, whatever that means to you. So, yeah, this is about a new way of thinking. Start looking at quantum manifestation and start looking at how you can take more responsibility for what you're creating and how you can take more responsibility over your own inner world, because it's your inner world that is creating your outer world. So make sure that what's on the inside, the frequency of your emotions, the frequency of your thinking, can you detach from your thoughts? We know that we can release negative emotions through breath work, through emotion code, tapping. There's loads. Hypnotherapy, yoga, I want to say. There's so many ways that we can release those low frequency emotions. So, wow, October is a time to do it, right? Lots of astrological things going on as well. Oh, that reminds me. I'll put a link in the description and the video in the end screen to a video I did recently with the lovely Amy Bird and Liz Nagel, the astrologer, the mystic, and the tarot card reader. It was all about the current astrological transits. So I'll put that in as well. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Have a fantastic October. Sending so much love to all of you. Please like, subscribe, and share. I don't normally say that, but I just felt like doing that at the end. Happy October. Bye for now.